Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome back to another edition of NBC's 10 Count. I'm Steve Fall, but on today's edition, I am talking to the reigning and defending Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Mercedes Martinez. How are you doing today?
I am phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you.
Phenomenal. That's a good word to describe yourself. And I said to you a little while ago, obviously we weren't recording. This is a bucket list interview because someone like you who has done everything, worked for every company, has done so much. I feel like sometimes you're not appreciated as much as you should be. So I'm just so happy to be here to appreciate you. So that's what I'm going to do here today on this interview. Hopefully I achieve my goals. So thank
I appreciate that. Thank you.
welcome. Now on December 29th, 2021, the world was shaken when you were signed to AEW. Suddenly you're all elite. Now, how did this deal come to be? Did you reach out to someone in the company? Did they reach out to you?
I think it was just an opportunity. They reached out to me actually. I was actually booking myself crazy for like the last 6 months before that, and just going all out pretty much. And literally within a week before that show, I was contacted, and basically they just said it's probably going to be a quick in and out. Thunder Rosa, and I was like, oh, that's a great program. Let's see what we can do. We already wrestled previously, like maybe a month or 2 months ago, anyways. So this was just something for me to be back in the mix on something really big. And then from there, the conversation kind of just escalated and just said, hey, you know what? We want to bring you in full time. So, we want you to be our elite. It was that quick. There was no talking to Tony at that moment. It was just like, here you go. Here's your contract. Get to us when you can. And that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of, it was really, really fast within days. To me, it was just like, do I sign this? Do I not? But of course, me, I want to be on mainstream TV, right? I want to make sure my legacy still continues. So I had no hesitation on that part.
Outstanding. So obviously, we're what you described to me, it's like when you meet, your spouse, and it's like, hey, nice to meet you. And then suddenly it was, hey, we're married. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What?
Yeah, I guess if you could put it that way, it's, hey, we didn't even have a date or anything yet. Let's just go straight to the altar. Let's go to Vegas and let's just do this thing. And that's what we did.
Outstanding. And I think your history and your lineage obviously brings so much to the table in AEW because, like I said before, you've done so much. And yet, do you feel slightly underappreciated for the years you put in? You've been wrestling since the year 2000, and it feels like the past 5 years, people, like you said, mainstream, people are finally seeing what you've been able to do without having to search you on YouTube or going to different federations. So, have you felt an appreciation over the past 5 years versus the last 15, which maybe people might have not known who you were?
Yeah, it has been a shift in the last 5 years, definitely for sure. I mean, coming from the independent scene, and everyone wants to make their mark and make their brand known. I had such a huge following already, and then when I got signed to WWE, it was like, hey, this big thing, pandemic hit, which kind of died down that hype.
Hmm.
So when the pandemic hit, it was like just everything just stopped for me. So when you're riding on that high, getting signed and everything, it was like, all right, pandemic hit, here we go. We have to kind of reinvent yourself. And then with the budgets cuts and everything and everybody getting released, it was like, all right, I'm back to the independent. So it wasn't so much as a underappreciation. It was just I didn't get the chance to make myself known on the mainstream. I had the following,
Hmm.
just the mainstream following were half and half with me because I didn't get enough TV time exposure to them. They knew of me, they knew what I was capable of, but when you're on TV, it's a whole different atmosphere and a whole different fan base. So I didn't get that chance. It wasn't that I wasn't appreciated enough, it's just I didn't get the opportunity to show what I can do on the mainstream. But everything always comes full circle. I always say, things have a way of working out. Working the indies again for the last, 5, 6 months after I got released, it was just it felt like I never left. I
Hmm.
actually hit it hard, really hard. And then AEW came and contacted me. It was like, hey, we got to grab you now. And it was just like, let's do this. So, I'm appreciated for any opportunities that
Hmm.
I get, but to be on mainstream, especially with AEW, a little known fact is when before I got signed to the other company, I did work AEW. They just didn't have a TV
Yep.
deal at that time. So it was just a matter of what can I do for stability and what can I do for my career, that I chose one over the other. But it wasn't choosing, it was just what can I do to better my brand, to
Mm.
better my legacy, to better my career at that moment in time. But everything comes full circle. So here I am making
I
waves.
I love it because it always, for me, I knew who you were, and it was always a shock to me that the WWE or Impact Wrestling or AEW wasn't a thing at the time, but like there were so many companies, and I'm like, why is no one picking her up? Like, how dumb do you have to be to not realize that you have an ace already prepared to come on to show, fight whoever you want, put them over, or you get over, whatever. I wrote in big bold print on my questions. I am shocked. And did anybody ever reach out to you from the year 2000? Because while there were pillow fights happening on TV on Raw and SmackDown, you're dominating, having incredible matches across the indies. Like, that must be a little frustrating, I would think, to you.
Of course, of course. Like my brand and my legacy has always been, let's change the game of women's wrestling, right? Let's get away from what the mainstream is producing. And my trainers and the people that mentored me and those veterans that helped groom me to what I am today, they were the ones to change. Hey, you need to change the game. You are that person that's got to blaze that trail, or at least help blaze that trail to make things differently. So it was very taboo, and it was very just, okay, she's a little too rough on the edges, she's a little too rugged, she's not
Mm.
polished, in the sense of what can TV offer. That's what it comes down to, is do you have the looks, do you have something marketable? And to them, athletes was not something that they were looking for anywhere on the mainstream. It wasn't the athlete profession at that time, it was the models, it was the swimsuits, it was all the fitness people, which, hey, I don't knock, you do what you got to do to get on TV, take the opportunities when it comes. When the opportunities came for me to have tryouts or anything like that, it was just, you're a great wrestler, just you're not marketable in that department of looks. And it's, I get it, I understand. I am who I am. I don't like to feel like I have to change myself physically to get a contract, or change myself to be mainstream, because I am different. You want different. You
Yeah.
want someone that's relatable on a whole mainstream level, someone who's normal, who just so happens to be a great wrestler. That's what I've always portrayed. And I always say opportunities come and go. I pick and choose the opportunities that were beneficial for me and for the legacy I want to leave for my career, and that's how that came about. And I haven't changed really. If you think about it, nothing's ever really changed.
Right. But obviously the struggles of achieving your dreams while the main companies are saying, I'm sorry, you're not marketable, is
Yeah.
gotta be a kick in the face. So at the time when you're putting on bangers and matches and people are finding out who you are, there are other companies telling you, I'm sorry, you're not marketable. But AEW appears and they're like, we need to sign you now. Like this, what do we? So I think it's very interesting that other companies would say one thing about you, and AEW is like, snatch her up as quick as we can. And to me, that shows that they want you because they know who you are and they know what you've done, and you're a great wrestler too. And I think that's where really the key here, because the women's division in AEW has been thriving over the past 2-3 years of building and building. So what do you bring to that division?
I bring experience. I bring, coachability to help, the other females. I bring that leader room, that locker room leadership that, that they, not that they were lacking it. I just think someone in my position can help them and see things in a different way.
Hmm.
A lot of these females in the locker room, some of them are really brand new to TV itself. And not that, I'm not any better or anything like that. It's just more or less, I see things in a different way through my eyes than other people would see. So I'm coming in and I'm bringing a level of experience. I'm bringing TV experience always, and I'm bringing that mom sense, I guess you can say. I'm not a young chicken anymore, but I can still go. It's more or less, it's bringing that support to them and that advice to them that a lot of these girls didn't have. A lot of the girls probably didn't even have a chance to even get on the independent scene for a long time before they got signed to AEW. So they don't know what they get into. So if they get frustrated because they're not getting TV time, it's just a matter of being patient, wait your turn. Things are going to happen. Just keep putting in the work, because that's all I've ever done in my career, was always putting the work. The time will come when there's somebody ready for someone like me. And that just so happens right now is the moment where I'm shining, and shining as bright as I can and taking those opportunities. So AEW pulled that trigger and just said, hey, here's the ball, take it. And I know my role there. I know what I have to do, but I also want to be able to still continue to develop the future of women's wrestling with the roster that we have.
Mm.
You know, these are young girls; they're very inexperienced, and you know, we have veterans in there like Athena, and we have, you know, people like Ali, Bunny, and these people, as well as me, are there to help mold the future of women's wrestling in AEW. The division is still young, the division is still flourishing. We have a long ways to go, but we're getting there. And this is the perfect opportunity for me to come in and help mold and help build a division that needs to be built on a higher platform.
Giving back to the business. That's what every,
Always.
that's what I think every wrestler should try for. Obviously, some try to hold on to their spot and don't want to give, but clearly you're a giver, and I love that about you. But July 23rd, Lowell, Massachusetts, my backyard, Ring of Honor is returning, and you're going to defend your women's championship against Serena Deeb, and I am so excited for this. I'll be there live. So I cannot wait for this. But what can fans expect from attending this brand new Ring of Honor? Because you did previously were involved with the old regime of Ring of Honor. Now we have a whole brand new set of keys to the door. So what can fans expect at this event?
Oh, man, it's like a rebirth. If you think about it, it really is, you know, going back from the old days of Ring of Honor to what the potential of what this new Ring of Honor can bring. It's something exciting. It's something that, you know, I'm glad to have the opportunity to build the women's division under, you know, under me, and mold what the division can be. But man, if you're looking at me and Serena, you know, me and Serena have, you know, battled in the past, had our feuds, but this is going to bring a new era of women's wrestling. You're looking at, you know, not high flying, because we're definitely don't high fly, right? We're technical, and we're submissions, and we're athletes, and we're wrestlers. And that's what Ring of Honor really encompasses, is wrestling, pure wrestling in its form. You know, you're looking at, you know, the chain wrestling and the submissions and anything technical. And of course, you know, you're looking at the power sense of it, and, you know, those big moments that you want to take. But I think for me and Serena, we're taking this very seriously. We're going in there showing the world what women wrestlers, and we put that emphasis on the wrestling, because that's what this is all about. It's can the mainstream handle two actual wrestlers and putting on a wrestling clinic and still entertaining, because you have to mix in the sports entertainment into it, because that's what this is, right? So it's a rebirth for her, it's a rebirth for me, and bringing a new level of what the women's division can bring going forward. So this is just a building block of what we can do for the women's division here in Ring of Honor.
I say this match has potential to be match of the year, and you kind of just said it. You brought it up like wrestler, because there's been an emphasis. I think your cat agrees with what I'm saying. That this match has potential. You can pick Cat up if you want. It's okay.
No, he's over here just. I kicked him out for a hot minute. He's just like, nope, I want to be part of it.
He broke in. It happened.
He did. He broke in his little cat door.
Hey, I had to close my cat door and my dog door, so no problem there. But yet this does have potential to be match of the year because of the two quality contenders in the match, like yourself and Serena Deeb, and of course the platform that you just said. Like, there's so many more eyes on this event, because the last time when Ring of Honor had a pay-per-view, it was just purchased. Like, it was like literally like boom, it's done. This has had time. This had molding. So now we're going to see this event. So do you think, obviously you're in the match, so do you think this has potential to be match of the year?
Why not? Why not? I mean, you know, you're looking at two of the best women wrestlers out there right now in this industry. We have the experience. We've been everywhere. We've done it all. We've had our struggles. We've sacrificed a lot for what we have to do to where we are now. And with Ring of Honor, it's a full circle. It's almost like, hey, we've been here before, but there was no women's division. We have a chance to propel this women's division to go forward for the future of Ring of Honor, and the future of what can this division bring to also AEW. Because if you look at it, you have to look at AEW and Ring of Honor. We have to be able to mix the talents. So those that may not be able to get the opportunity in AEW for whatever reason, because storylines and whatnot, this is a chance for them to get into Ring of Honor and actually showcase their skills and their talents. It's a different platform. So we're just here to build and we're here to capitalize. And yeah, me and Serena are going to go in there. We're going to kill it. We're going to throw out the banger. We're going to throw out something that no one has ever seen before, that they haven't seen on mainstream, and just prove to everyone that women's wrestling is here to stay. And just let us just roll with it. Let us just take the ball and, bring the opportunities and bring everything to what it can be. Women's wrestling's on a high right now, and I'm just glad to help lead the charge.
I'm trying to hide my smile hearing all that. You got me a little weepy here.
Oh man!
Because again, I think it's so important for multiple scenarios in wrestling where we have different styles of wrestling. It doesn't matter where you're working, what you're doing. I think it all matters is, did you put on a good match? Are the fans happy? Did you do the best you could versus, oh, I'll do a couple moves and that'll get them happy? like you're clearly motivated to go out there and possibly hurt Serena Deeb and show that you are the best going right now. But with Tony Khan purchasing Ring of Honor on March 30th, were you shocked by this? Because this, I think, was, people didn't know what was going to happen to Ring of Honor during the pandemic. The wrestlers were still getting paid, but yet then suddenly it was like, oh, everyone's getting released. And then out of nowhere, Tony Khan buys it. So were you surprised by this?
I definitely was. When you hear these little rumors here and there, and you don't know if they're going to pan out, because that's what they are, right? Everything's always a rumor until it actually happens. Whenever he purchased Ring of Honor and he got all blown up, I was just like, man, this is great. Ring of Honor had a great division, women's division, before it kind of went, downhill, and kind of before they got bought out. They had that women's division, being stacked up with like persons like Holiday and Miranda Alizé and, Maxine Paul. Like, you had all these girls that I've known of, but I didn't get to see. So this was their platform.
Mhm.
And, I still want to be able to, bring that division and bring it still to those independent female wrestlers who were trying to build this division. And Tony buying it is just another catalyst for us to have that mainstream, and for other females, not just on the AEW roster, but anywhere else, to come in and help Ring of Honor. Like, I'm not looking to build this division just on an AEW's back. I want to build this division on its own back. Ring of Honor is its own separate entity. Ring of Honor has history. Now Ring of Honor will have history in building its women's division, not just with the AEW rosters from everywhere. I want to be able to defend my title, because we all know I'm gonna beat Serena. I'm going to, obviously, I'm looking to defend that title against anybody and anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have the opportunity to step in the ring with me and me being able to put that title on line, it's a big deal, because that's what we're doing here. We're making sure that everyone has the opportunity. And if you are ready for that opportunity, you will take yourself to the next level, plus take the women's division to the next level, plus bring them honor, literally what it means, honor. So that's really the whole catalyst. And that's all I'm looking to do, is just, build on the future, build on the present, and just show people that, I can still go, and that I can still throw out those bangers just like anybody else. And Serena's going to feel that wrath, unfortunately.
Nice. So you bring it up though, Ring of Honor is obviously, it can be its own entity, just like NXT was the farm league. Could Ring of Honor be a training ground for people who, like you brought up earlier, some wrestlers in AEW didn't get the chance to be on TV to experience, look at this camera, look at that camera, talk this way, enter this way. Do you think Ring of Honor could be kind of like a training facility for talent who don't have the experience to be on TV, who later on could be on Dynamite?
Of course, I think it definitely can be. I mean, there's so much potential there for what Ring of Honor can bring to the table. I mean, before Tony bought it, Ring of Honor was its own entity. It had its own brand. It had its own fans. But now you're bringing it together with AEW. And now you can mix up anything and everything and make different matches and bring in different talent and give them the opportunity to show what they can do. Not to say that Ring of Honor is small, but it's a way to give yourself the chance to showcase what you can do without feeling so much pressure of a Dynamite or a Rampage. So this is a way to elevate yourself and say, hey, you know what? This is where I'm going to learn. This is where I'm going to cultivate myself. And let I can do this. And at the same time, you kind of want Ring of Honor to stay its own separate entity because Ring of Honor has its own legacy. You
Yeah.
don't want it to become another AEW. You want it to stay separate, but mix in that talent, mix in, the opportunities, because everyone deserves something. Everyone deserves the opportunity to learn and grow. And it can be that catalyst, just like NXT was for, the Raws and the SmackDowns, but NXT became its own brand. And that's
Right.
what Ring of Honor has to be. It has to be its own brand. You have to keep it separate. Just mix the talent, because you can get banger matches if you mix those talents that you won't see anywhere else.
Oh
That's what
yeah.
I'm looking forward to.
Oh man, that's the opportunity. The opportunity is obviously there. You got a huge opportunity on May 4th when you beat Deonna Purrazzo and you became the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's Champion. How important was that moment for you? Because it obviously could have gone completely sideways for you, and I didn't think it was going to go sideways for you, but it could have. It could have, and then suddenly maybe we wouldn't be sitting here talking about you're going to be defending your championship against Serena Deeb. So like, how important was that moment for you to get both titles, unify them, put your stamp on it? It's like, I'm the face of this brand in the women's division.
It was one of those things that it was not that it was hard to get Deonna. Deonna was all into, hey, let's do this. It was just a matter of when can we do this, history making title defense.
Mm-hmm.
When can, I don't want to consider myself that interim championship because I believe that I am the true champion, and then that was the moment that we needed to make sure that everyone understood that, yes, this is the opportunity. This was the night that I need to be champion, and I proved myself that. What people don't realize is that Ring of Honor back in the day didn't have this title. People tend to forget, yeah, they've had a women's division, but it was really lackluster. It was come in here and there, maybe do intergender matches, but it never solidified itself as, with its own women's division.
Mm-hmm.
And for there to be a title now, and for me to be able to have the opportunity to hold that title when I was there near the beginning of Ring of Honor, that is the most rewarding experience that anybody can get, to know full circle that a company that you worked for early in career never had a chance to flourish its division now has the chance to flourish and bring it up, and the opportunities riding on your back. Like, that's how I have to look at it. It's like I put this the women's division. I take it very seriously. Deonna did a great job as a champion. I give her credit for where credit is due. She is a phenomenal performer. She's a phenomenal wrestler. She did very well with that title, but it wasn't under the Ring of Honor banner. It was under, her promotions banner. We have to make sure we keep this title still under Ring of Honor, because that's where the legacy begins and that's where the legacy is going to end. So, having that great match, and it could have gone either way, either me and her, the fact that I walked out there as a true champion, Ring of Honor Women's Champion, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, just means that now it's time for me to bring this title and bring this women's division to a whole nother level. And I want to bring it and make it its own entity on my back. And I take that pressure very, I take it to heart. I really do. I want to make sure that after me, anybody who else is champion, that they have a platform and they have a level to either bring it to or break.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing it up here. They have to make sure that whoever comes before me has to bring it here or surpass it, because that's the way this division has to be after so long not having one. So having this title means the world to me. It's one of those titles. I've held many, but this is the one that means the most at this moment.
Of course. And again, you kind of brought it up where for so long Ring of Honor didn't have women's championship. And like, why do you think that was the case? Was it because the mainstream didn't need it? Like, for instance, obviously it's different for certain talent, but for a long time, women's wrestling was not looked at as something as, oh, I can't wait for this match. It was, oh, this is happening, I can go to the bathroom. Unfortunately. And that wasn't their fault. That was no one's fault, but how it was presented to a main audience. Like, if you're told this isn't that great, well, then you're going to believe it's not that great. So with the women's division, Ring of Honor not being presented, was that a mainstream, hey, the mainstream's not doing this, so we won't do this, or it was something completely different?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think in any company that has a small women's division, we always tend to be the attraction match. Yeah. We always tend to be the one women's match on every promotion, and that's how it was. And of course, mainstream presented that one women's match that they had on their 3-hour program, 2-hour program. That one women's match was always considered a joke. Not to say that those before me was a joke. It was just the way they were presented. It
Yeah.
was, those pillow fights, the TNA, the bra and panties, and whatever else they were trying to do. It was just, we get it. Sex sells. It's the sex appeal. It's just the way it works, right? It was a man's world, but it's not anymore.
Yes.
So back then, it was very hard to be able to put on a wrestling match when you have your audience and and fans and all these people just not giving a care about what you're doing in there. So it was very hard for wrestlers like me and like a Lufisto and a Jazz back in the day, like for us to actually make the name for ourselves, because we always wanted to be seen as athletes. We wanted to take this women's wrestling as wrestling. You get by with what you get by. Hey, I don't knock anybody who wants to use their sex appeal. You use what you got, right?
Yeah.
I don't knock it. Get what you get. At the end of the day, you want your fame, you want your fortune, you want that money, you want it. I get it. A lot of my friends went that route, and I don't knock it for them. They're still good friends with me. I just chose a different path because I wanted to change the way women's wrestling was trying to be looked at. I didn't want people to leave during my matches. I didn't want people to say, "Hey, show your, boobs and this." And I didn't want that. Like, why is that coming through my matches? And I wanted to change that perception. In Ring of Honor, maybe they followed the mainstream. Maybe they were just like boom, but they also gave you good, credible wrestlers in their matches. So maybe it was just putting us in intergender matches or, 6-man tags. So every once in a while, the singles matches. It wasn't that they went towards the mainstream of their matches. It just wasn't enough women wrestlers to fill that void for them. All of us were everywhere. You had your Sarah Del Rey, you had your Rain, you had your Lacey, your Daisy Hayes, you had me, Mickey Knuckles. So you had this group of prop girls, but if they weren't around, you couldn't have a women's division because there was just not enough females to
Mm.
be part of that division. And that's what happened everywhere. You can only make it around so much, in the world. You can only do so much. And that's what happened with a lot of promotions. It's just they just didn't have enough crop of girls and the budget to bring in to form a women's division. Hence why women's companies started popping up. Hence why, especially in Boston, they had the Triple W. NECW had a great women's division. They went to Triple W. You Shimmer, WSU, like
Yeah.
all these women's companies started popping up because we needed a place for every female to come in all at once and work, instead of just putting ourselves in one promotion here, one promotion there, and just working the same females over and over again. Women's companies popped up: Shimmer, WSU, Shine. That's where a lot of our legacy started and flourished, to help companies like a Ring of Honor, to help companies like NSCW and these smaller companies. Now you got these girls that are being put on a platform. Now you can pick and choose the girls if you want to build your division, because now women's companies are giving you these girls that you probably never heard of. You're given a chance to look. Now bringing in these girls, and that's how a lot of these women's divisions in other companies got built up, is by having an all-female promotion. So you got to look at it that way. Mainstream didn't give it to you. You got to look for it somewhere else. The girls need to flourish somehow. You do what you got to do to make your money. But I believe that Ring of Honor was just one of those companies that just didn't have enough females on their roster to build a women's division around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think obviously representation is a gigantic thing, and seeing someone, a woman's wrestler on TV doing badass things versus pillow fights is more inspirational in my brain than, if I have a daughter and she's 5 years old, and if I'm going to show her something on TV, you know what I'd rather show her? A strong, powerful woman doing what she does best versus, hey, it's a cat fight and we're going to scream cat fight and we're going to scream puppies. Like, how is me as a father showing my daughter how to be yourself when it's like, oh, well, you brought it up, sex appeal, and that's, someone can do that and that's fine with them. But if I'm a dad and I got a 5-year-old daughter,
Exactly.
what am I going to do here? Like, did Tony Khan ever talk to you about, hey, we want you to be the face of the Ring of Honor women's division? Has there been a conversation about this?
No, it was when the conversation came up, really, it was, hey, you're going to be booked for this show, with Willow. And I was never like, oh, it's going to be for the title, and the title's going to be yours. And I'm just like, whoa, like I I'm all for it. Hey, let's build a division around me. Let me do this. It was more or less just, I think everything just came suddenly. Just like when I got hired, it was like, hey, we want you, and then boom, here's your contract, right? So this was almost the same thing. It was boom, hey, there's a chance, to revive Ring of Honor. You've been with Ring of Honor, you're gonna be the face of Ring of Honor. It was like, oh, okay, cool, let me take that. So it was very nonchalant, like a just regular conversation. It wasn't like, this is gonna be serious, Mercedes. Let me tell you. But we all know how Tony is. He's so crazy and so wild. He's like, let's go, and that's really how he is when you have a conversation with him on the phone, through text. The way he talks is the way it's just the way it is. So it wasn't like we sat down and had this big conversation. It was, these are my plans, Mercedes, and you're going to be this, and this is how we're going to do it. Okay, cool, let's go. And we talk about what, how can we progress it, what we can do to make it better, what can we do to help flourish Ring of Honor. And that's still always an ongoing talk, because we're still in its infancy. We were having this match, this big card, Death Before Dishonor, on the 23rd, and it's something big and it's exciting. And I want to be able to do more on those type of matches and those type of pay-per-views on a regular basis, and eventually go to the point where we can have weekly television for Ring of Honor. I want to get Ring of Honor its own entity, because it's such a pivotal point in my career that it was one of the big promotions that I worked for. So it's, I don't know where we go from here. I just know we go up, and we will always go up. And whatever that entails, and whatever that happens with me to help build this division and what Ring of Honor, and whatever Tony thinks is the right move, I'm going to be there right beside him to help build this division and help build Ring of Honor.
So lately, I have not. You kind of been absent a little bit from AEW television, and is that a design to keep people excited? Like, oh, I gotta watch Ring of Honor to see you, or is there just you're not being used on Dynamite, and would you like to be used more on Dynamite, showcasing your Ring of Honor championship?
I think it's a combination of both. I would love to be more on Dynamite and Rampage, but there's only so many slots, right? There's only so much TV that you can put in there. I always say the women's division is a work of progress, and it's not just me that feels that. It's every female in the locker room. If you're not in a storyline, if you're not being featured, there's a reason for that, because you only have so much time slots. Do I wish there was more time slots for females? Of course I do. I think we should always get 2 segments in a 2-hour show. Why not? Rampage, let's make sure that we put 1 segment for the females, regardless of what it is. I really do think that we need more representation on television on a mainstream level. I would love to be more in Dynamite, but I think the focus right now is to make sure that we can push Ring of Honor. Yeah. And if I can take my title and defend it on the Dynamites and Rampage, you got to remember AEW has 2 other female, title holders. You have Jade, who holds 1 title, and you have Thunder Rosa. Those are your main title holders in AEW. I'm a Ring of Honor champion that's under the AEW banner. And there's only so much that I can do on TV when you have 2 other big champions that they have to promote as well. And I think that falls in all of the categories for all of the Ring of Honor champions. It's just we can get in, we can show, hey, this is what we're going to do, tune into this pay-per-view, because eventually what I can do is, we do the dark elevations, and we do the dark, and we have to, push ourselves there so people understand that these titles mean something. And if we can't get to the mainstream, to the Dynamites and to the Rampage, we're going to make sure that we still do our best to make sure people tune into the Ring of Honor. So it's a combination of both. I'm not frustrated or anything. I know the design. I know how things work. Do I want more? Of course, everybody wants more to be on TV, right? But I also know the long run and the basis of why I'm not on TV, because I hold a title for another company that we're still being worked on, that is still being progressed, and we have to figure out the logistics of that. I think it will be different if I wasn't holding a title, then I could be pushed on, matches here and there. But I think we have to protect the title and make sure that we're not just put it on TV just for the hell of it. You want people to see that, but you also want to make the matches special. So I think it's a do or die. It's kind of 50-50 on its hand. So I get it. I understand the business. I get how things work. On a personal level, it's like, oh, come on, put me on TV, bro. Let's go. Come on, you got a title, but you have 2 other titles that's for that company that they have to showcase. And I'm kind of like, all right, I have this title. I get it. All right, well, can we just show it every once in a while, please?
I can imagine it's very difficult when you have so many titles from 2 different brands. It's not just like, oh, AEW has a lot of titles. It's you have two different shows, two different brands with all these titles. I can't imagine you have to have like a Night of Champions type deal to like even that wouldn't be enough probably, because there's just so many championships. But July 23rd, it's Death Before Dishonor, you and Serena Deeb, but also June 27th, AEW Dynamite is coming. It's like AEW and Ring of Honor are teaming up to take over New England, and I absolutely love it. So Worcester, Mass Dynamite, we said it earlier, but will you be walking into Dynamite with your Ring of Honor Women's Championship?
Of course. Is there any doubt that I wouldn't? Come on now.
No, please don't hurt. Please don't hurt me.
I got you, bro.
I'll put my La Parker mask on and you won't find me. But it is amazing that having two amazing shows kind of like a week apart from each other is such a good thing for wrestling fans in general. So like, how excited are you for, Ring of Honor on the 23rd, then you got Dynamite on the 27th?
Man, I am so excited, and it's great because I actually get to go and actually enjoy some time in Massachusetts. Early in my career, Massachusetts is one of the few places I was constantly going and constantly building my brand in Vermont and the Rhode Islands. Like that was, the early part of my career. So for me to kind of go back home to that area, it's kind of, nostalgic. So, I had that pay-per-view and we're going to kill it. All the crew on there is going to kill it. We're going to put out a banger matches and then make sure people understand Ring of Honor is here to stay. And we're just going to build on top of it. And then going back for Dynamite, we got to help build that AEW brand and make sure people understand, hey, Ring of Honor, AEW, wrestling is wrestling. And we're here to put that on the map and just enjoy it. I'm just enjoying the ride right now.
I can't wait. I'll be at both shows, so I'm very excited.
Oh, I'm gonna be looking for you now.
I'll be wearing my mask. Actually, they probably won't let me in. Actually, they might let me wear a mask in. But so one final question before I let you go: what are your goals for this year? Because obviously you've accomplished so much, joining AEW at the tail end of 2021, becoming the undisputed women's champion of Ring of Honor, defending it on a huge pay-per-view. Like, you have so much going on for you already. What are your goals for the rest of the year?
How to go for the other two titles. Duh. Why not? My goal is to make sure that people understand that Mercedes Martinez is no nonsense. The sacrifices that I made in this business means that, hey, I'm here in AEW. Just because I'm Ring of Honor champion doesn't mean I can't go for any other title that's up for grabs. So if the opportunity strikes and I see that opportunity, I'm going to go in and strike, whether it's Jade, if she's champion by the time the opportunity goes, or it's Thunder Rosa or whoever else decides to take that title. But we all know by the end of the year, I'm looking to hold 2 belts, maybe even more, on a mainstream television. Hey.
My God. Taking down the undefeated Jade, taking down Thunder Rosa, 3 championships. You might need a third arm to hold them all. Well, I guess you got a waist, 2 arms.
I got a waist, 2 arms.
As long as you don't lose your waist and you're then you're fine. You'd be half a body.
Big goals. You always want to have those big goals, and you hope that you can achieve them. But that's my goal right now. Is if I can't get 3, I'm gunning from one of those titles. And you're looking. I want to be able to hold and flourish both divisions that's under that AEW, under Tony Khan. Why not? Who says God. I can't? I'm going for it.
Not me. I would never say that to you. Oh my God. Now you have me fantasy booking you and Jade and Thunder Rosa. This is going to be exciting. Tony, I know you're watching. I know you're watching right now. So make this happen. Book it right now. But I again, this has been an honor and a privilege to talk to someone who has been wrestling since the year 2000, dominating everywhere you've gone. You've been everywhere, and now you're home in AEW and Ring of Honor. I cannot wait. The 23rd. It's going to be a huge match with you and Serena Deeb. I'm excited. Everyone should order this on pay-per-view. Fight TV, Bleach Report. It's going to be awesome, exciting. Mercedes Martinez, thank you so much for being here on NBC's 10 Count. It was truly an honor and a privilege because this is a dream come true.
Oh, thank you so much. It was an honor. It was my pleasure to do this. Everyone tune in to the pay-per-view. Don't miss it. You're going to see one hell of a classic match between me and Serena. Of course, I'm walking out as champion because I got big goals for this year. Don't miss Dynamite either on the 27th. That's going to be a big show coming off of this pay-per-view. You never know what can happen.
Never know, folks. Thanks for watching NBC's 10 Count. I've been Seafall. She's been Mercedes Martinez. We had a great time, and we'll see you next time. Bye.